Brian Malahy and Sandy. Over there is a motorcycle on its side. We are about 90th South and 150 West. This motorcyclist was hit, police say, by a stolen car this afternoon, the driver of a stolen car. That person, the driver, was apparently shot by police, and the motorcyclist was injured as well. Both were taken to hospitals. Emma and Jonia are here. Both of you work at a school, a private tutoring business nearby. Jonia, first of all, let me ask you, what did you see? What did you hear?
I did not see a lot of it. I was with a student at the time, but I heard the sirens and I heard the pops of the gunfire. And my job at that moment was to just keep my student calm. So Emma came in and she explained what had happened, what she saw, but she took me out of the room so that the child didn't hear. And then we just
So you were doing a private tutoring session at the time?
With a little 9-year-old girl.
All right. So, and you're Emma. So you are the administrative assistant. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
At the school. And this was unnerving, I think, this afternoon. You heard a lot, and then you saw a lot.
I did. So I heard the ambulances coming through. I heard all of the police sirens. And then I ultimately heard the gunshots. And so I went downstairs first thing and I just locked the door just because I wanted to make sure everyone was safe, including my coworker, Jonia, to make sure she was safe and the student. And so after about 10 minutes or so, once I heard more police coming through, I went downstairs to kind of check on everything. And that's when I saw the guy was laying down. I don't know what happened. I don't know like the state of it, but the police were swarming and trying to get him covered up, and the ambulance.
This is the driver of the car.
The driver of the car. The motorcyclist at the time was already taken. Like within a couple of minutes, he was already taken to the hospital because it was just.
Could you assess the condition of the driver of the car?
I couldn't. He was so far away at that point. They were just swarming him.
Police
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, both of you, for stopping.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. We're going to go over here and listen to the police now, give an update on what happened here.
That suspicious vehicle was in fact a stolen vehicle. Our officers were able to locate that vehicle while it was traveling on our roadway here in Sandy. I don't know exactly which road it was, but they continued to follow from a distance without engaging into a pursuit, trying to call for additional resources and officers to help get into the area so they could effect a high-risk stop. It's believed at some point during that time, the suspect of the stolen vehicle recognized that he was being followed by marked police units and began to actively evade from our officers. Our officers withheld really good restraint in not engaging in a pursuit and endangering any of the public any more than had happened with his erratic driving. Ultimately ended up down here on Monroe Street, coming up to the intersection at 90th South. Encountered some other officers and somehow turned his vehicle around, went into oncoming traffic here on Monroe Street, and collided with a motorcycle. Left the scene of that accident and continues south on Monroe, where it turns into Monroe Plaza. I think it's Monroe Plaza Way. That happens to be a dead end, and I don't know the sequence of events, what happened from there on, but we had officers that saw him pull into that area. They followed in, and once they got into that dead end, there was shots fired by one of our officers.
Can you tell us what precipitated the police firing?
I don't know. I don't know what it was that precipitated it. That part is going to be under investigation by the team from the Officer Involved Critical Incident Protocol. They will be conducting that investigation, and they've taken it over from here.
Do you know if he had a gun in the car?
I do not know. I don't know.
And what was his status after he was shot? He was hit.
I don't know if he was actually hit or if he was injured from the accident, but he was transported to a local hospital, as well as the motorcyclist. He was as well transported to a local area hospital. I don't have ages. I don't have identities. I just know that they are both males.
And the guy that was in the stolen car.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any information related to this vehicle, the circumstances of the theft, anything like that?
I don't, and that's one of the things when there's an officer-involved shooting and it involves our own agency. It's part of the reason why we have the officer-involved critical incident teams that come out, so that they are the ones that will take over the investigation without bias. So I don't have all the details. I have just preliminary information that I can provide you guys.
Conditions on either of these guys?
I haven't been given an update. I know that they were both transported from here and to a local hospital, but I don't know what the condition is yet.
So I just to be clear, the driver of the stolen car is going north on Monroe, is that right?
That's what we believe, is that according to some of the witnesses and our officers, that it was northbound on Monroe, ended up getting down here toward the intersection, reversed or turned around somehow, and was heading into oncoming traffic, and that's when he hit the motorcyclist.
The motorcycle. Okay, so he stayed on this side of the street here. This is the north. These are the northbound lanes.
Right.
He stayed here, hit the motorcycle, and then what? Did he continue to?
Yeah, he continued southbound. So Monroe Street right here, as you go south, turns into Monroe Plaza Way.
I see. And that's where the shooting occurred.
That's where the shooting occurred.
So what comes next? Obviously now lost off here.
Right. So with the once we invoke the OICI protocol, that is a team of investigators throughout the valley. They've taken over the investigation. They will do everything to diagram. So we anticipate that this will remain closed for a few more hours.
How are your officers doing?
Last word I got is that the officers are okay. A little shaken, but they're okay.
There were no shots fired by the suspect in the stolen vehicle.
I don't know at all on that end. I know that we had an officer that did fire, but I don't know about the suspect's
One
actions.
officer fired.
One officer is my
officer
understanding. Yeah.
I mean, so the suspects can't be very sure.
So this is the latest from the police department here. Police tape is still up. This is on Monroe, which is about 150 west in Sandy, and we're just south of 90th South. And we got more in that briefing from the police. So the guy in the stolen car is going north on this street on Monroe, gets up to 90th South, and then decides to do a U-turn apparently and head back this direction, and that's when he collided with the motorcyclist. And then the guy in the stolen car decided to continue going south to Monroe Plaza. Officers gave chase, confronted him there, and that's when the shots were fired. So we have two in the hospital. One is the motorcyclist who was struck by the driver of the stolen car, and then the driver of the stolen car who was injured somehow. Police fired. Police aren't saying that the man was struck, but they say that he was injured in some way. So he may have been struck, may have been hurt by the accident itself, by the crash. At the end of all this, we don't know. But this is the situation, and this street is going to be closed for some time in Sandy while police conduct their investigation. In addition, the officer-involved critical incident team is going to be looking into the police shooting itself. There you see 90th South. 90th South is moving east-west, no problems. And anybody who's in this business right here, this is Club 90, which has been a long-standing business at this intersection for many, many years. Anybody who's in that parking lot and it services, that lot does, other businesses, they can get out and get to 90th South. But nobody's going southbound here, and northbound from on this stretch closed as well. Just a horrible situation out here today, and we've been talking to a couple of people who work at a school or a private tutoring business that's close by, and getting their reaction to this as well. They heard just a loud crash. They heard gunshots. At least one person heard gunshots, and then they saw that the police had swarmed around the suspect in the stolen car, in what police say was a stolen car. So this is the situation in Sandy. And we are really about a block away from I-15. So I-15 is to the west, about a block. It doesn't appear that, that's affecting anything to do with I-15 or 90th South. So the major roads in here are fine, but this is going to take a while. It wasn't too far away from here where I covered a road rage incident in which a person was killed. This was roughly a year ago, maybe not quite, and it was south of here, but very close to the freeway. So sad situation here right now. We're getting more information. Maybe you can see down here the police cars that are down at that location. That's where we believe the shooting took place, where one officer fired a gun at the suspect. No names have been released, and we're dealing with little information right now, but we're going to have more coming up on 2 News, also on KUTV.com. Thanks for watching this Facebook Live.